Alright everybody, so today's second video is on a review on the movie Coco. And of course, Coco is the new Disney Pixar movie about Dia de los Muertos, which is a Mexican holiday. It's often translated as Day of the Dead. It was a really wonderful and of course a movie that's very heavily influenced and about Mexican culture. Before I do this, I'm sure I've said this before in a previous video, but I'm gonna say it again. I am half Mexican, on my dad's side. So this movie, I actually got to learn a lot about my own culture, things I didn't know. In case you're wondering, like, why wasn't I? Sorry. In case you're wondering why I never knew this stuff before, my dad just never got to do it. I mean, I don't think he ever celebrated Dia de los Muertos himself growing up, so that's a factor as well. So it's like, I don't know Spanish. I mean, the only thing Mexican that I do is eat Mexican food. That's it. And there's nothing really wrong with that. But it was nice to actually get to learn more about the part of me that is Mexican, because I know so much about my Scottish side and my English side of the family. I know a lot about, like, I know what clans we're from in Scotland, type of thing. So it was really nice to learn about my Mexican side. Yes, I know, like, my dad has mentioned, a lot of the family line has come from Spain. Like, our family was in Spain first, and then they came to Mexico, which I think is the case for a lot of Mexican families, I'm sure. But you kind of get what I'm saying, right? So I think this is a movie for people who are Mexican to be very proud of their heritage, and maybe for those that don't know a lot about their culture, to learn something about their culture. I think it's just a really good movie. I think it's a wonderful story, and yes, it is about Mexican culture. It is about Dia de los Muertos. But it's also about family. That's the core story of this movie. It's about family. It centers around Miguel and his love of music, and he has to learn that there's more important things in life than being a musician. Like, he learns that family is more important. I think that's a really beautiful story to tell, especially nowadays. I feel like we forget, you know what I mean? We forget that family matters more. I'm actually really tearing up, and it is a very sad movie. It does make you cry, much like Pixar movies do. The first, like, 10 minutes of Up always make me cry, like, right off the bat. I'm gonna actually do some spoilers in this review. So I really liked that it was a focus on family, which was nice and isn't very something that's not very common, in a lot of movies outside of, even some animated movies aren't about family. I think what like, trying to think what came out. Like the Minion movie, like, that's not really about family like this is. I'm not talking about like Despicable. I'm talking about the movie, like the Minion, where it's about the Minions. I mean, in Despicable Me, it's a little bit about family, because Gru learns that he does love the little girls he's adopted. But yeah, but I really love that this was about family. I think it's so important to cherish your family, because I think, sorry. I think family is very important. I also what was really nice about this particular Pixar movie was, it dealt with death. It really did. Not a lot of children's movies deal with death. Um, I've never seen The Book of Life, so I don't know how it works in that one. Um, but this one, I think it showed like children that death is okay, because it's like a natural part of life. Something like I think something like that is important about Dia de los Muertos is that you know death is not something that's scary. It is sad, but it's like a necessary part of life. And I really like that we kind of saw this, and we do see, here's a spoiler. If you don't put a picture of your family member on the altar, it has a Mexican word, or a Spanish word, excuse me. I can't really. I'm not very good with pronouncing Spanish things. Like I think I've been butchering, saying Day of the Dead this whole time, but I try. If you put the picture up, no, that's not right. If you forget your ancestor who's passed away, they'll disappear in the land of the dead, and that's also very sad, and that's also very dark. You know that isn't really done in children's movie, and like you're seeing the afterlife, but you're also seeing something. Oh, it's not this picture perfect place. There are some things like that happen. It's got what's the word I'm looking for? like a downfall, right? I would say, because there's a struggle in death, even because if your family starts to forget you, you disappear, and then they don't know what happens to you after you disappear. So you could just very much fade from existence forever, or something. As long as you have a family member that remembers and then puts the picture up on the altar, then you're okay. Because then after that, you can continually put up the pictures, and you pass down those stories of that person for generations. So another twist was, this is also a spoiler. Miguel has a hero. It's a musician named Ernesto de la Cruz. He's considered the greatest musician of all time. He was someone that Miguel looked up to, but it turns out that he was somebody who stole. He was a thief. He stole all his songs. He stole the guitar from Miguel's real grandfather, because we know that. I think in the trailers they've kind of already revealed that Miguel thinks Ernesto is his grandfather, and it's actually not. It's Hector. So Ernesto and Hector were friends, and it sounded like they were going to be like a duet, or a duo. And they were going to do music together, but Hector wanted to come home and be with his little girl Coco, who is who is Miguel's great grandma. In is it great grandma or great grandma? Because I think it's been a couple of generations. I feel like no, great grandma, just great. No, that's right. Because he calls the other older lady, whose name I don't remember, Abuelita, which I think is just grandma in Spanish. I totally said that wrong. I know I did. Anyways, Hector wanted to come home, and Ernesto was like, I want to be rich and famous. So he poisoned Hector and stole his music and his guitar, and then became rich and famous, and nobody remembered Hector. His family, that he abandoned them. That was some dark. You saw someone commit murder for. I think obviously there have been murder in other Disney stories. But I think, this was pretty dark, and it shows the downfall of like being a celebrity, like the dark, that dark side of being a celebrity, right? It's like Ernesto wanted fame so bad, he was gonna do whatever it took to get it, even killing someone. And but I love though that in the end he's the one that ends up being forgotten, and Hector